All right. Hello, everybody. We are live with this webinar. Carlos, are you still there with me?
I am. I'm right here.
Awesome. Perfect. So thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in to How to Have Your Best Year in 2019, featuring Carlos.
Caicedo.
I had it, and then
That's a tough one.
you know what? I had it. It was on the tip of my tongue. But um, from Buffini Company, I'm really excited. We've been chatting for the past half an hour, and I'm really, really excited. I feel like I'm all ramped up and ready to go. Thanks so much, everybody, for checking in on the chat and just letting us know where you're from. It helps give Carlos a little bit of context. And I said, you know what? Today we're really nationwide, which is awesome. I love it. I want to remind everybody just a little bit of housekeeping. If you experience any buffering, you can refresh with F5. On Chrome, it's just Control R. On a laptop, you might need to hit Function F5. Just hit that refresh button. I find that fixes a lot of problems. But in terms of it, I usually check on this, make sure the audio is running. I'll do my stuff in the background, make sure everything's going so that we're all good to go. So if you have any issues, I also remind you that this is on YouTube, so you can always pause it if you need to. You can come back to it right here waiting for you to go. Now, in terms of it also, I appreciate everybody who's chatting, asking questions. We've bookmarked about 10 minutes of time near the end to get to some questions, so we'll have some time for that. And again, just to remind you, it's recorded. I always ask people, if you like the webinar, feel free to hit that like button. Feel free to subscribe, hit the bell, the YouTube stuff. It's important, but it does help because that way we make sure you know when the next webinars are coming up. Why we do these webinars is really related to Royal LePage's promise to you, and that's all about helping you maximize your earning potential by providing you with powerful business tools, access to leads and referral, and training for all stages of your career. I know a lot of you come on the webinars every single month, every couple of weeks actually, and you hear this again and again, but I just want to remind you that that's what we're trying to do. And I'm trying to expose you to all of our training partners so you can get all the different styles. And we had a really great registration for this webinar. I see a lot of people already on, which is awesome. So thanks so much, everybody who's taken the time out today to be here. And I'll tell you, getting somebody from Buffini was hard during Thanksgiving week. So it was tricky to get them, but Carlos has really been very grateful with his time. So we're here all about enhancing your sales development, learning from industry experts, and talking about the subjects that relate what's happening in real estate right now. And of course, with everything going on in real estate right now, with all the talk going out of Canadian real estate, it's really great to have somebody come up from San Diego and talk to us about it. And that's where I want to introduce Carlos Caicedo. Huh?
Wow, that was great.
Charm, right?
You said it. You said it right. Yeah.
So Carlos has actually been a coach since 2011. He actually works with a number of Royal LePage agents. And he's helped hundreds of small business owners maximize their potential, increase their income, and really achieve more balance in their life. And that's the one that I think is so great. I hear so many agents who talk about, that balance, hitting that right stride. He's instructed industry leaders with accountability, motivation, personal action plans to increase agent productivity. And himself, he comes from this background. So he's actually a licensed real estate agent in San Diego. He's got a combined 28 years of sales experience, which, as mentioned, includes real estate. So he really understands what you guys are going through, what it takes to run a successful business. This desire to help everybody, to help others really run their successful business has led to him becoming a coach with Buffini Company and pursue his passion of doing exactly that. Now, he's from New York. He attended New York State University. He loves spending his free time with his wife, Michelle, and their 2 dogs. He's a guitar player and singer, which tunes in well for us. Carlos, our CEO, is also a guitar player and singer. He's produced some stuff. And he's a New York Yankees fan, but he seems like a really great guy, so I'm not going to hold that against him.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, no problem. So with that said, like I said, looking at the people here, you're really looking all over Canada, a lot of GTA, BC, from the Sunshine Coast to the cities. You got everybody in Canada here with you, Carlos. So I'm going to kick it over to you.
Well, thank you, Mike. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And first, let me just say hello to all of Canada and all of you wonderful real estate agents, brokers that are in this wonderful industry called real estate. So it really is I don't know how else to say it. It really is an honor and a pleasure to be on this webcast and hopefully give you some information to prepare you to have your best year in 2019. So I wish I could see all of you, but we'll move forward here, but I'm sure that you're all looking great and getting ready to take some wonderful notes today. I'd encourage you to take some notes. We're going to go through our presentation here and give you some information. And from time to time, I'll give you some coaching tips that we use here in Buffini Coaching with our one-to-one members. So moving forward, let's see. Let's start off with our first slide here. How to have your best year yet in 2019. Well, the way that we coach our one-to-one members is that we start getting them ready to have their best year in 2019, roughly 90 days before the end of the year, through some basic three basic elements. So as a real estate agent or a lender or anyone in business for themselves, you have to have a plan moving forward, without a doubt. You have to have a plan so that you know where to concentrate your efforts, how to align your focus, and also to keep you moving forward in the direction of achieving your goals. Even though, because in this industry, as you know, there are a lot of challenges, there are a lot of challenging situations, clients, your energy is limited, and sometimes we veer off our plan or our path. So we have to have one written. The second element is to have a wonderful year is to develop wonderful habits, successful habits, habits that are proven. So having a plan, developing habits, and this is something that you can start right away before the new year begins. Third element is a commitment to personal growth. You know, there's an expression that says that what you become is what you attract. So, without a doubt, having that commitment to personal growth, constantly learning, developing your skills, becoming a better agent, and developing and growing in all other areas of your life is very, very important to being successful as an entrepreneur, without a doubt. So, moving forward, having a plan. So the key to having a plan, the way we teach it at Buffini and Company, there are three elements to having a business plan. You know, some of the realtors that I coach, when I start talking to them for the first time about having a business plan, they say, "Oh yeah, I put together my business plan." I said, "Oh, what is your business plan?" And they say to me, "Coach, I want to sell $10 million in real estate next year. I want to do 20 transactions with an average sales price of 500,000 or whatever their goals are." I said, "Okay, good, good. That's great. What are the other parts of your plan?" That's it. Because generally that's all they know is how to create a business plan is by just simply writing out what they want to achieve in terms of transactions, sales, and goals. But here at Buffini and Company, we know that we are coaching people, not just a system. So having a business plan, according to Brian Buffini, is having a written set of goals in all areas of your life, not just business. The second element is making sure that you have a written, that you've created a budget. In other words, a plan for how you're going to spend your money, how you're going to invest your money in real estate for client parties, for training, for events, even little things like just sold no cards, you know, uh, postage, gasoline, all of the different expenses that one has to keep track of when you are a business owner. Okay. So having a working budget in place before you begin your year is key to having a great business plan. The third element is the way Brian describes it, is having a plan for activity and ways to connect with your database in the new year. And we use a tool. We use a marketing calendar to create that plan of activity and how you're going to connect with your database in the coming year. So these are the three elements as taught by Brian Buffini. And, being a coach for 8 years and being in sales for 28 years, um, this is absolutely, absolutely true and proven. If you have a wonderful written set of goals, if you have a business budget in place, how you're going to spend your money next year, and if you create a plan for contact in the new year, those three elements are going to help you achieve the success that you're looking for. So let's move on. So meaningful goals. I want to talk to you about meaningful goals. So this is where you may want to take some notes. The way we coach our members to write their goals is that we use an acronym by it's called SMART, which represents specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-based. So writing down a goal is great, but you have to make sure that it's specific, it's a measurable goal, attainable, realistic, and time-based. I'll give you an example. Sometimes when someone says to me, "Coach, I would like to," as an example, "I would like to lose 50 pounds." I'd say, "Great. Is that your goal?" "Yes." "Okay. Well, let's make sure that it's a SMART goal." So, by when would you like to lose the 50 pounds? We say, or 20 pounds, whatever the weight is, whatever the health goal is. They say, "Well, I just want to achieve it next year." I said, "Well, here's the situation. I understand the goal you want to achieve, but the focus and the detail is not there. In other words, you haven't created a plan for it. And when you just create goals or write down goals that are very general, generally speaking, you don't achieve them because there is no plan. You're not specific enough. There's no milestones to hit in that plan. So someone who says to me, "Coach, I want to lose 50 pounds by the end of next year or 40 pounds, whatever it may be." I said, "Okay, let's set some milestones." So in the first quarter, let's set a milestone for weight loss, whether it's 5 pounds, 10 pounds, and then we create a plan for that. We write down a plan of exercise and nutrition and accountability and also motivation, through reading, through videos, podcasts, to help you achieve that goal in the first quarter. And then we set a milestone for the second quarter and the third quarter and the fourth quarter. So being very specific with your goals is the key to achieving them. And using that simple acronym of, is this goal specific enough? Well, yeah, losing 50 pounds in 2019, that's pretty specific. Is it measurable? Yes, I can measure it. Is it attainable? Yes, it's attainable because I know I have a desired weight loss goal every quarter. Is it realistic? Well, yes, I'm looking at my plan. I have enough information in my plan, both in terms of exercise and both in terms of how long it's going to take me to achieve the milestones every quarter or every 4 months or whatever it may be. And is it time based? Yes, I can measure my improvement, my incremental improvements quarterly throughout the year so that I can hit my goal. So something as important as weight loss is key, and I use that as an example. So it can be about real estate as well. So just writing down your goals, the simple fact of writing down your goals is very important. But I would encourage all of you to put more detail into it, set some milestones, create a small plan. And then, so we teach people through coaching that creating your goals for the year is very important. But then we must also create what we call 10-day goals. 10-day goals. So what are in the first 10 days of the new year? Here are my goals. Here are the activities that I need to accomplish in the next 10 days in order to start down the path of achieving that goal. So if you wanted to generate more listings, let's say next year, and your goal is to um, have a certain amount of listings in the first half of the year. So what are the first 10 steps? That's a great goal. But what are the first 10 steps? What are your 10-day goals? What is it that you need to do in the first 10 days? So creating a plan every 10 days to help you along the path of achieving those year-long goals is extremely important. Now, here's the thing. Meaningful goals. So writing goals, the way we teach it here at Buffini and Company, have to be meaningful. It has to have great importance. Um, just simply creating a to-do list and calling those goals, it's not going to give you the passion. It's not going to give you the motivation, the commitment to stick to the goals throughout the year. So some soul searching needs to take place before the end of the year. So spending time uh, thinking, contemplating, what do I really, really, really want? in the new year? What do I really want my business to look like? Envisioning. Okay, I definitely want to close 10 transactions in the first quarter or in the first 6 months of the year. Okay, what do those transactions look like? Well, I want six of them to be listings and four to be working with buyers, purchases. Okay, well, write it down. Great, great, great. So to become a great listing agent, what do I need to do? Well, I probably need to take some more training, maybe attend some workshops, maybe look at my listing presentation, maybe practice my listing presentation daily for 10 minutes. Also, learning how to ask for listing referrals. So, setting the goal is one thing, but creating the plan and just thinking in terms of, okay, what are my 10-day goals? Okay. And then after those goals, after you accomplish those steps, what are my next 10-day goals? So, if you get into the habit of writing 10-day goals, it's going to help you achieve your year-long goals.
Hey, Carlos, I got a couple questions for you, if
Sure.
you don't mind. Um, Number one is Carol is asking, what's the difference between the A and the R? And I would imagine a lot of people will ask you, what's the difference between attainable and realistic when it comes to me writing down that goal?
Yes. Okay. Great question. So, attainable, if you think to yourself, okay, so am I in terms of, let's say, I want to stick with the weight loss goal. So, is it attainable for me to lose 5 to 10 pounds in the first quarter to achieve my goal of losing 50 pounds by the end of the year? Is that an attainable goal? Well, yes, I'm healthy. I can sign up for a gym. I can change my eating. I can watch my intake. Yeah, so that is an attainable goal. Now, if someone said to me, I want to lose 50 pounds in the first 10 days of 2019, well, that would not be a realistic goal. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. Okay. And the other question I had was, let's say I'm a brand new realtor. I just tuned in this webinar. I'm going, you know what? I'm getting started. I want 2019 to be a great year. How can I set this goal for myself if I've not really sold many listings or not really had too many buyers? How am I taking the the average for my area? Am I taking the average from my office and trying to work that? Am I consulting with my broker? I mean, what would be, as far as a coach, what would be your approach to somebody who's saying, I'm brand new to this?
Yeah, great. Another great question. So, yes, you would take the average of your market and your area. And the thing about writing goals, especially for a new agent, is you don't have anything to base those goals on in terms of business.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so, having a great conversation with your broker and asking the question, so if I take training, if I'm focused every day, if I'm doing lead generation every day, what should I be expecting, let's say next year as a brand new agent in terms of production? So having a little, having someone else to give you a little bit of perspective so that you can create that goal. Then once you do it, once you work your way through the year, you're going to see for yourself, okay, I was told that in the first 6 months, it would be reasonable, attainable to close six transactions. But you know what? I've been so focused and I've been so committed that I've actually closed 10 transactions. So my goal for the next 6 months is not going to be six more transactions. I'm going to set a little bit higher goal and of 12 transactions. So by tracking your progress, that's going to give you the insight as to how far you can push yourself in terms of transactions and income and business goals.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, sure. All right. Well, thank you, Mike.
Yeah. I tried to interrupt too much, but
No, please, by all means.
cool.
I'm staring at a blank wall. So this is good. All right. Well, so having a plan, having a set of written, specific, meaningful goals, without a doubt. And I would encourage everyone not just to write goals in for business, but also to look at other parts of your life. Here at Buffini and Company, we coach people on writing 5 circle goals because Brian, the way he teaches goal writing is that we are people, we're human beings, and we're multifaceted, and we have families, and we have goals and aspirations, personal goals and aspirations, as well as financial, not just how many transactions. So if you can sit down and really think to yourself, okay, hey, let me go I want to, achieve this personal goal. Whether it's, maybe I've always thought of picking up a guitar and learning how to play a guitar in 2019. Now, for my business goals, I want to close, 6 transactions in the first 6 months. So as you're learning how to play guitar and you start to achieve that goal, then you start to develop the habit of achieving goals. And that's just like a domino effect. It's actually a compounding effect. So by writing small goals, medium-sized goals, and large goals, maybe in the first quarter, just to, what, I'm going to set a goal of reading one book. Finally, I'm going to do this. I'm going to read one book every month for the first 3 months. By just simply achieving that goal, it's going to give you the confidence of knowing that, what, I committed to something and I did it. So when you are working and you say to yourself, I want to close 6 transactions in the first 6 months, you're going to be that much more committed. So writing goals for all aspects of your life is important. And if you all want to know what the 5 circles are here at Buffini and Company, I'll share them with you so you can write them down. So the 5 circles of goal writing for Buffini and Company members would be business goals, financial goals, personal goals, family goals, and what we call spiritual goals. Now, I do caution you, when we say spiritual goals, we don't necessarily mean religious goals. I coach a Royal LePage agent I was speaking with Mike. I coach a Royal LePage agent in Toronto, in the Toronto area. And when I first started coaching her years ago, she shared with me one of her goals, which was to travel and help build homes for the poor in third world countries. And I said, great, let's write down that goal. Well, I can share with you today that she travels outside of Canada and outside of North America twice a year, building homes and building schools. And so she's achieved those goals year after year. And because of her confidence in achieving those goals, her business has also grown and is doing extremely well. So writing goals, whether they're small, medium, or large, and achieving those goals builds confidence, and it builds and it'll help you with your business as well. Any questions on that, Mike? Feel free to chime in.
No, I think that made perfect sense. And I wrote them out in the chat, by the way, for everybody. I had a couple people ask if the recording goes out, and I said, yeah, we'll send out the recording as well. So, I think it's good because to be honest, I'm sitting here going, I'm writing down some for myself that I got to identify for 2019.
Excellent. I'll give you one tip, not as a coach, but as a husband. When you go to write family goals, write them with your family. I remember the first time I sat down to write goals, probably 15 years ago, in this manner, and I shared our family goals with my wife, and I said to her, "Hey, this is what we're going to do as a family this year." Well, that didn't go over very well. So make sure that you write them with your spouse or your family, right?
Will do. All right.
All right, well, let's move on. So having a plan, a business plan, the first element is having a set of written, specific, meaningful goals, SMART goals, as we call them. So here's some wonderful information on why you should write down your goals. 83% of the population do not have goals. It's remarkable. 14% have a plan in mind, but their goals are unwritten. 3% have goals written down. Now here comes the interesting information. 14% who have goals are 10 times more successful than those without goals. The 3% with written goals are 3 times more successful than the 14%. That's remarkable. If you think about it, that's 30% right there, more successful than people who just think of goals but don't write them down. Okay, so with unwritten goals, writing your goals down sets you up to be exponentially more successful than people who don't have goals or people who don't write down their goals. And this was a study done by the Harvard Business School this past October in 2018. We know this to be true here at Buffini and Company because we've been coaching for over 20 years, and we know the importance of writing goals. I'm going to switch the screen here. There we go. Here's a wonderful quote from Earl Nightingale. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal or ideal. So, as a coaching tip, um, from a coach who's been doing this for 8 years, while you're working on achieving your goal, keep this in mind that achieving the goal is one thing, but the progression of achieving that goal is also success. So measure success not just in achieving the goal, but going down the pathway to achieving that goal. Those incremental improvements throughout the year. And that, that's success. Okay. So just a little food for thought there. Let's move on to the next one. This is a wonderful example of how to write your 10-day business goals. Okay. It's a wonderful little sheet here that we use, a template that we use with our the people that we coach. There's a commitment right there at the very beginning. So my 10-day goals to be achieved by. So we want to be specific with the date. We want to achieve these 10-day goals by such and such date. And then you want to write out those 10-day goals, whether it's join a gym, sign up for listing presentation training, sign up for a negotiation class, book a flight for my next vacation, write down my goals before the end of the year, and really spend time with my goal writing. So, whatever your 10-day goals are, definitely write them down. And there are some examples here as well. So, catch up on all action steps, So, whether that's calling your database, following up with your past clients, um, uh, complete, sort, and organize my database in the referral maker. Okay, so that one right there. Some of you may or may not use our CRM system, which we created. It's called the referral maker. So here's a coach's tip. So wherever you have your database, whatever CRM program you have it in, I know some agents that simply use an Excel spreadsheet to put their database into to stay organized. Well, whatever system you use, I highly advise that once a quarter that you go through this database and make sure that your relationships are sorted correctly. Hopefully, you're using some type of letter to determine, what that person is to you and your business. Whether this person's an A plus, an A B, a C, or a D. Who are your VIPs in your database? Who are your past clients? So you have to make sure that you try to stay as organized with your database throughout the year, and to look at your database once a quarter, go in there, see if you need to do any updates. And the funny thing is, when you do that, you realize, wow, I haven't spoken to this person in 6 months. I should give them a call today. So um, we also have something called Use the Mayor campaign. Oh, by the way, dialogue, which is simply a qualifying question. So if you're using or if you're enrolled in any membership level at Buffini and Company, you would understand what that means, which is it's simply understanding and knowing a qualifying dialogue that you can use with people that are in your database, such as if you were thinking about buying or selling real estate, would I be the realtor that you would refer your friends and family to? So having some type of dialogue to qualify the people in your database is very, very important. And I don't want to go too far into that, but let's move down. What does that say? Practice my listing or buyer presentations for 15 minutes every day, without a doubt. The more skilled you are, the more successful you'll be. So just setting aside some time every day to practice your dialogues, to practice your listing presentation or buyer presentation, to go through and or understand what your where your market is, what the stats are. So constantly sharpening your skills is a great way to achieve your goals in the long run, because you'll become a much more seasoned professional. People will want to hear what you have to say, and again, that leads to greater success. And then number 5, there is an example. We always say, look to grow your database. So add 2 new qualified additions to my database every day for the next 10 days. That's a wonderful goal. A database can become stale and stagnant. So as a business owner, you have to constantly think to yourself, okay, I need to add new people into my database. Most salespeople are trained, okay, so if I have a database, the only people that I add to that database are my present day, my past, and my future clients. Well, when you're working by referral, yes, you add your past clients, your present day clients, and your future clients, but you also add other relationships. I mean, if you go out and meet a contractor or a photographer or an architect or a lawyer, and you have a wonderful conversation, add them to your database. You may or may not sell them property in the future, but if you have them in your database, you'll always have the opportunity to generate a referral from them. And generating a referral is the key to what we do here at Buffini Company, because that is the best type of lead you can have, a referral, where someone refers you, someone who thinks highly of you enough to refer you to someone that they know. So the person that you're going to be helping in the future, that referral, they're already sold on you. So again, focus on constantly growing your database. The more people you have in your database, the greater the ability to generate referrals. Now, at the same time, you have to make sure that you're looking through your database and making sure that people are in specific groups. So that way you are focused on the most important relationships in your database. Okay. Well, let's move on to the next screen there. Mike, did you have any questions on that?
No, I did not. I think you made it crystal clear. I really appreciate it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Having a working budget. I'm looking at the clock here. I'll start to move a little quicker here. Having a working budget in place. Okay, so again, don't be. This is very important in real estate. You know, we know in coaching that most real estate agents who do not become successful, who unfortunately sometimes have to leave the business and get another job, it's because they're not minding their money. You know, they don't have a working budget in place. And if you don't have one in place, terrible things can happen. You can overspend in most cases, and in some cases you can underspend, because you do have to reinvest some of your money into your business. So having a working budget is key. Just understanding, just having a tool that's going to show you where your money's going is going to help you to become a successful realtor and a successful entrepreneur. Here's a great quote from Dave Ramsey. A budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went, without a doubt. And by the way, Dave Ramsey wrote a wonderful book that I would highly recommend. So if you want to write it down, it's called The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. That particular book will help you managing money, eliminating debt, and help you put you on the path to creating wealth. Once again, The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. So again, a working budget. Here's an example. There are many different types of Excel spreadsheets or on the internet, or maybe your broker can provide you on how to track your expenses and keep an eye on them. One of the things that I encourage as a entrepreneur myself, I've had several businesses before I became a coach. And the one thing I learned right away is that you need to stay on top of your expenses. You know, otherwise they're just going to run away. They really are. They're going to get out of hand. Looking at what you're spending, once a quarter is not good enough. You want to be looking at how you're spending your money, where it's going, at least once a week. That would be my recommendation, to just kind of go in there and quickly look. You're looking at your budget or your spending plan once a week, then that time that you spend looking at it's going to be minimal. I mean, I look at my budget once a week, and it takes me literally 3 or 4 minutes. Sometimes I look at it and nothing has changed. Sometimes a lot has changed and I need to make some adjustments. But minding your money is very important to becoming a successful real estate agent. All the top real estate agents, the reason that they stay in business and the reason that they're able to be successful regardless of what the market is doing is because they're very mindful of their expenses. They're creating savings account. They save for a rainy day. They take money, they invest it in real estate. And they're just very careful with their money, so they're able to survive any type of change in the market conditions, without a doubt. Any questions, Mike?
Sorry, I'm just out there looking for the link because somebody was asking where they can get this, and they can actually get this from the Buffini website, and I'm just going to send the link into the chat as well.
Okay, excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. Well, let me keep moving. Let me keep moving here. A marketing calendar, having a plan. So this was the third element of having a business plan. So just as a reminder, the first element is having a set of written, specific, smart goals. The second element is having a budget in place. So you're going to be deciding in an Excel spreadsheet or on paper, how am I going to spend my money next year? I need to set little goals for how I'm going to spend my money for closing gifts, for postage, for Popeye gifts, for lunches. I want to set like a little budget and try to stay within that. And then as you go through the year and your business increases, then you can change those amounts. You can increase them. Wow, okay, I've closed 10 transactions in the first 6 months. So I can spend a little more on lunches. I can spend a little more on Popeye gifts. I can spend more on postage. So yes, so a budget is not something that just you create it and then you just leave it alone. No, it's a working document. You have to go into it and make those changes. And then the third element of having a wonderful business plan is creating a plan for how you're going to stay in contact with your database and all the activities that you're going to do in the new year. And we call that a marketing calendar. Here's an example of a marketing calendar. Many of you receive this once a year. You know, we usually, if you're enrolled in Buffini Company and you receive the monthly kit, you'll be receiving this calendar as you do every year in your December kit. Just from experience as a coach, I can share with you that probably most people that receive this in their marketing kit look at it and don't do anything with it until they have a coach. This is one of the most powerful tools that you have that can help you be successful, without a doubt. So you'll want to fill in your marketing account. By the way, if you don't receive a kit every month and we don't send you one of these marketing calendars, you can simply go to an office supply store and buy a wall calendar and put it up on the wall, and then create a plan for contact. You know, I would the way we teach it as coaches is that you want to look at this and approach it in the following manner. And this is the way Brian Buffini teaches it, has been teaching it for 20 years. You want to fill in your calendar with the most important activities to you, what we call the biggest rocks. So you want to first start with vacations, uh, any vacation that you're planning on taking or any vacation that you wish to take, go ahead and mark it on this calendar. Block off the days. Set some goals for some time off. If you're thinking that you want to take at least one Sunday or every other Sunday off, put it into this calendar. Block it off as a day off and color code it. Use a highlighter so that way you see it as it's approaching. You know, you'll see your vacations as they're approaching. You know, if it's the middle of February and you're working hard with your clients and you're doing Popeyes and you're organizing some type of client event and you're negotiating transactions and you're working with your sellers and you're working really, really hard and there's a lot of pressure there. But if you look at your marketing calendar and then you see that at the end of March, you have a week off and you're going to take a trip to Montreal or to New York City or to visit us out here in San Diego, you have something to look forward to. And then you also know that, hey, this is not going to last forever. All of this pressure, all of this hard work that I'm doing, there's only three weeks or 4 weeks left of it, and then I'm off to enjoy my vacation. So putting in those large rocks into your marketing calendar is crucial. Then you want to fill in and identify all the different holidays or reasons to contact your database. So you'll want to label those as well. You know, whether it's Valentine's Day, whether it's St. Patrick's Day, whether it's Canadian Thanksgiving, whether it's Mother's Day, Father's Day. Go ahead and identify them in there. When I say identify, I mean label them. Label them in your calendar. So that way, at least you'll see them. You'll see that date a week or two or a month or 3 months before it arrives. And that'll at least give you the opportunity to prepare before the day arrives. You know, it's a terrible feeling, and I know it when I when you know that you should have been contacting your database and you haven't for 6 weeks, and then tomorrow is Mother's Day. Wow. Well, I can't do much now. It's too late. I'm just going to have to let Mother's Day slip by to contact, the mothers, the most important people in my database. Um, or on Father's Day or what have you. So you don't want that. You want to be able to see the days, see these opportunities for connecting with your database, to connecting with your relationships ahead of time. So if you do get this marketing calendar, please, please, as a coach, this is super important to fill this out, put it up on your wall in your office, whether it's your home office or your office, put it somewhere where you can see it every day so that you're able to see all of these wonderful opportunities to connect with your database, and also to give you perspective when your next vacation is, when's your next day off, so that you can manage your day a little bit more. It'll give you hope without a doubt, because this is a very, very demanding industry that we're in. But when you use these tools, it becomes easier and easier. Mike, do you have any questions on that?
Yeah, I actually had a very interesting discussion with a realtor just recently, and she was saying that she was kind of all digital, and she actually started going back to her written journal and her written agenda and planner, because she said it felt more real. So you're saying, you're saying here, hey, get the don't just rely on digital. Have this printed out. Have you found? I mean, in terms of your coaching and you're dealing with agents, are people are people leaning that way? Is something going on that I'm not aware of?
Well, two things. Two things. The great question, by the way. So, number one, the majority of people who create some type of plan digitally, you have to remember that you're only going to see that plan when you access that plan. When you have a marketing calendar posted up on your wall in your wherever it is that you work, you have no option. You're going to see it every day. So it's a visual tool. It's a visual reminder of what your goals are, and what you're trying to achieve. So I would encourage using the paper version. However, some people do they create a digital version of this, and they have the discipline of looking at this daily. So if you're one of those people that has that discipline of looking at this daily, then go ahead, create a digital version of it. But most people don't. So putting it up on the wall. Here's the other thing. If you're working with an assistant, or whether you have a team, then the activities that you pre-plan for the new year should be up on the wall. So that way everyone's on the same page.
True.
Yeah. Your assistant, and you have to give your assistant or your team members permission to remind you, because, we're not perfect. So, an assistant can say to you, hey, Carlos, it's it's Christmas around the corner and you haven't started writing your Christmas holiday cards. Oh my God, you're right. Thank you. I see it up on oh yeah, I forgot. I've been so focused on my clients for the past week that I haven't begun to write my holiday cards, or I haven't prepared for a client party that I have in 2 weeks. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
Good. Okay. Let's move on. Here we go. I'm having fun. I hope you are.
I am.
Developing successful habits. Okay, so the first point was to have a plan, right? And we know the 3 points to that plan, the 3 elements. The second is to develop successful habits. This is the key to having a great year. So having a plan, a business plan, number one. Number two is to work on developing successful habits that are proven. And this requires commitment, without a doubt. And it requires some learning too. Um, there's a book every year in the fourth quarter as a coach for the past 8 years, because I'm a big believer in personal growth, without a doubt. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't continue to grow after I graduated college. Most people stop learning once they graduate college. I mean, the majority of their learning. But if you continue and develop those wonderful habits of reading books on all types of subjects, and whether it's real estate related or anything else, if you develop that mindset of personal growth, oh my God, uh, uh, you know, new doors of opportunity will open for you, without a doubt. Here's a book that I'm using right now in coaching with the 85 people that I coach. So if some of you are listening You're probably laughing right now because you're in the middle of reading this wonderful book. It's called The Miracle Morning, The Not So Obvious Secret Guaranteed to Transform Your Life. It was written by Hal Elrod. This is a wonderful book that will um, help you create a morning ritual that's really, and I don't want to go into too much detail, but creating a morning ritual. In other words, starting off your day on the right foot, as the expression says. You want to start your day off in the right way. And in this book, it gives you the tactics and the principles and the plan on how to create your own uh, morning ritual that are going to help you achieve your goals. I mean, this is such a powerful book. It has changed the lives of so many. It'll help you with your health goals. It'll help you with your business goals. It'll help you manage your day. It'll help relieve stress. It'll help your enthusiasm. It'll put you into that positive mindset every day. And it'll keep you focused on what's most important to you, for what you need to accomplish. So I highly, highly encourage the reading of this book, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And this is actually something that I'm using with everyone that I coach this year. So every year in the fourth quarter, as a coach, it's a wonderful time to learn and to sharpen your skills. Okay, because here in the United States, business slows down in the second half of the year, and especially in the fourth quarter, business slows down a little bit. We're not closing as many deals as we do in the second or third quarter. So when business slows down, it's a great time to connect with your database, but it's also a great time to invest in yourself through personal growth. You are, Brian says it all the time, you are your greatest asset. So you have to invest in yourself. And the more you invest in yourself, the more return you'll see. Any questions, Mike?
No, I've just added the link into the chat for everybody. I guess
Great.
actually, I have a question here. Like, let's
Sure.
say, give me one piece, and I will point out the time. We are running a little bit low on time, but give me one piece. Like, if you were to say, I'm going to pull one thing from this book, one little nugget for you to start working on this, what would it be?
Okay. So when you're reading this book, I highly encourage anyone who's reading this book, not just to read it, but to actually start applying some of the information in this book. Apply it and then stick with it. Because sometimes you don't see the results right away. But if you apply what's in this book, if the writer says, okay, in the morning, I want, here's what I suggest. I suggest that you visualize your goals for the year. I also suggest that you look at your schedule and prioritize your day. Now, just doing that 1 or 2 days, you probably won't see the results, but it's over time that you'll see the benefits and the results from applying those habits and creating those successful habits. I hope that answers your question.
I'm on board. Let's do it.
All right. Next one. I'll keep moving. Yeah, there you go. I'll keep moving. Okay. So there are a couple of elements to developing successful habits. Taking care of yourself. Health is health. This I know. I coach many real estate agents that in certain markets, they're earning whatever the amount is, 80, 90, new agents, $50,000 a year. I coach some very successful realtors and brokers in Manhattan who earn over $1 million. I coach some lenders who do their own personal production, could be 10 million a year, 5 million a year, 3 million a year, or I coach some that do over $100 million a year. And one of the fundamental things is that you have to take care of yourself in this business because it's so taxing. Stress, energy. So you have to have that mindset that if I could just stay mindful of taking care of myself, both physically and mentally, by eliminating many things moving forward in the new year, such as eliminating distractions. You kind of have to put blinders on if you really want to achieve your goals. When you walk into the office, if people are talking about the latest happenings of the government, or or any the latest news, negative news, usually, you kind of have to have those blinders and just say, "Hey, good morning, guys," and then go into your office and then follow your plan, whatever that plan may be. Stick to your schedule. Do lead generation. Follow up with your clients. Also, you want to be very mindful of your intake. So, reading positive books, positive material, surrounding yourself with positive people who are working towards their goal is another key element. If you look at people who are not successful, generally they surround themselves with people who are not goal writers or goal oriented, who are not successful. So successful people surround themselves with other successful people because they have the same mindset. So this is key to having a great year, to take care of yourself physically as well as mentally, to eliminate distractions, and to always focus on lead generation. So I am a pragmatic person in a way that I don't fool myself as a both a real estate agent and as a coach, that the goal as for a real estate agent is to generate leads. Because if you don't have leads, you can't close transactions. You can't If you're not closing transactions, you can't really accomplish your goals. So we have to stay focused on lead generation every day. And I'm only going to say this about lead generation, whether it's contacting your database, writing notes, doing Popeyes, asking for referrals. um, Here's the thing. This is the key word: consistency. If I could give one tip as a coach, and I do give it, people ask me outside of Buffini Company, give me one tip that'll help me grow my business and help me be successful. What would that tip be? I would say the word is consistency, without a doubt. If you're consistent, if you do a little bit of lead generation every day, even if you're really, really busy and you're able to make one call into your database just to check in with someone and then write them a personal note, you were successful that day. It's that consistency of lead generation that's going to give you consistent business. They go hand in hand. Inconsistent lead generation leads to inconsistent business. So that's the key to all of this. Be consistent with your goals, stay focused, be consistent about what you put into your brain, be consistent with eliminating distractions, be consistent with staying focused on your plan for contact, which we call the marketing calendar, be consistent with reading, be consistent with lead generation. It's not necessarily about doing a lot, it's more about being consistent. I know real estate agents who, once a month, they sit down and they make 20, 30 phone calls and write 20, 30 personal notes. Well, I know other real estate agents that sit down and make 2 calls a day and write 1 or 2 notes. The ones that do 2 calls a day and write 1 or 2 personal notes, their growth in their business is much faster and they become much more successful quicker than the agent who does 20 calls in one day and writes 20 notes. And the reason is because throughout the month, if you're staying in contact with your database, there's more opportunity for referrals. If you're only reaching out to your database once a month, then there's a lot of opportunity that was missed, without a doubt. So consistency is the key to business. Any questions on that, Mike?
No, not that I see in terms of it, and that's yeah, it's what I've heard from many agents all along. Keep in mind, we got 5 minutes left.
All right. Okay, I'll go real quick here. Take care of yourself, get some exercise, eat healthy, take time to recharge. Okay, so there are wonderful books out there on how to do that. Here's a wonderful quote from the great Benjamin Franklin. Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Well, isn't that true? Especially for the most successful people. So having that mindset is very important. Eliminating distractions in the office. I think I kind of went over that. You want to be focused on your goals, on your plan, and just eliminate distractions. It's great to chat with people for a couple of minutes, but get to work. If you're in the office working, work. That's the key. Okay. If you're in the office, work. If there's no work to be done, get out of the office and connect with your database. Go to some training. Go to an event, a seminar. Learn. Work. That's the key. Use your time productively. Here's a wonderful little flyer that we use with our peak producer students. Many of you have seen this. It says power hour in session, do not disturb. The funny thing is, as coaches, we do this here. When I'm not on a coaching call and I'm doing my own admin work, whether it's updating my files or whether I'm reading, because it's a book assignment from Brian, I'll put this right on my door here at Buffini Company. Power hour in session, do not disturb. So everyone knows not to knock on that door, not to disturb me, because I am hyper focused on what I need to accomplish. So if you don't have one of these, you can create one easily, put it on your door, let people know, please do not disturb me. I am working. This is key because people will disturb you without a doubt. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. There it is. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. So having that daily discipline of being consistent with everything that I've spoken about is what's going to help you achieve your goals. Developing successful habits. Focus on lead generation. Okay, I think we kind of covered that. Commit to your own growth, personal growth. What are you learning? Invest in training. And wow, look what just popped up. Get a coach. Yes, I'm going to talk about coaching. I'm a coach. Get yourself a coach. People with coaches absolutely achieve their goals much faster than people who don't have a coach. Now, some of you may not be in a position to hire a coach at the moment, but that doesn't mean that you can't plan for it and put some money aside and then get into coaching. All the top professionals, Wayne Gretzky had a coach. Otherwise, a coach will get you to that level that on our own, most people struggle to achieve. So get yourself a coach. What are you learning? Intake, associations, and affirmations. We kind of went over that. By the way, on December 4th, Brian is having his, every year he does his bold predictions. What he predicts is going to happen in 2019 regarding the real estate and lending industry. And I know that he does address some of his predictions that are based on what he predicts is going to happen in Canada. So that is free to anyone. All you have to do is go and log in, register, and watch Bold Predictions. That airs on December 4th at 9 a.m. It's 1 hour Pacific Standard Time. So you'll have to just make sure that you do that. Commit to your own growth, invest in training, sharpen your skills, hit the books, go to an event. Get a coach. Wonderful thing. I'm just going to take 60 seconds here. All of these people, these are real coaches. These are not actors. These are real coaches, and they're friends of mine. We have over 50 coaches here that are full-time. What makes our coaching so unique and so successful is that every single one of our coaches are different in many, many ways, just like every person on this planet is. So we connect a member who signs up for coaching with a coach that is the best fit for them. So if you're an analytical person, if you're a bottom line person, well, we have a coach for you that can help you with that. If you're someone who needs help with organization because you're not organized, well, we have a coach for that. If again, there's a coach for everyone here at Buffini and Company, and we're all dedicated. I'm looking at these wonderful faces. These are my friends. These are my coworkers for the past 8 years, and I can tell you one thing: we are committed to helping and everyone that we coach. As a matter of fact, it's really our core value to impact and improve the lives of the people that we coach. We live it and breathe it. Again, have a plan, develop successful habits, commit. Here we go. And we've come to the end. Mike, I tried to speed that up. Wow. So
Yeah.
The mic's yours, Mike.
Well, I've asked people to ask any questions that they may have. Now, somebody's asking for some precision around point 3A, but I can't recall what point 3A was. If you can go back in your presentation, and we'll see what that is. 3A. I think it was around the intake, associations, and affirmations. So intake, is what are you actually taking in? What do you mean by association and affirmations?
Well, the people that you associate with.
Okay,
the
yes.
people that you surround yourself. And affirmations, there's a wonderful book about affirmations. You may want to write it down. This is actually required reading for every employee here at Buffini and Company when they start. It's a wonderful book that I read many, many years ago. It's titled What to Say When You Talk to Yourself by Dr. Shad Helmstetter. And in it, Dr. Shad Helmstetter talks about um, the power of daily affirmations and how that really, really does have an effect on your thinking and your success. When you change the way you think, the way your mind processes information, you will become more successful. So in that book, he talks about it, he explains it. It's very easy to read, and he also shares, I think it's 12 specific affirmations that you can recite daily in order to condition your thought patterns. It's a wonderful book.
Nice. Um, yeah, so somebody's just asking. I put the link for the book, what to say when you talk to yourself. I put that link in there. Somebody's just asking about the learnings themselves. So, I mean, in terms of that, um,
What are you learning?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's improving your skills as a realtor and
yeah.
as a business owner. It's not just taking maybe going to take a class on negotiations, but also maybe taking a class on how to invest. Oh, just sharpening your skills.
And that's something that my team has been talking about a lot in our sessions, saying, the stuff you do, I can't go and learn you know another language and then be like, how come this isn't translating to real estate success? You have to think about how it helps bring your value. So what you're bringing to the table, you really have to think about what you're doing in that, and I think be very conscious about it, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah. So one thing that I wanted to ask, because I don't have
Yes.
any other questions in there, but what is your So we your first coaching. That's one thing that I could see. Myself, if I was a realtor and I'm on the line here and I'm going, you know what, like you said, coaches are important. Wayne Gretzky had a coach. Michael Jordan had a coach. I found it really interesting. I mean, I don't know how much you follow basketball in that respect, but Toronto, we lost a really DeMar DeRozan, who a lot of people had a real love of here in Toronto. But the thing I thought that was really neat is I saw in the summer he was working in the summer league down in San Antonio, and I can't remember who the coach is there. The coach,
I don't know.
but in the summer league, I was watching him, and he was holding the ball and pivoting it, and the coach was actually touching his elbow, and you could see he was saying, okay, when you do it, you do this. And I go, you're talking to an NBA All-Star, a guy who's been in the league for 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
Popovich,
Mm-hmm.
and you're still teaching him. He's still learning. This guy, he is one of the top players, top paid, top tier. Everything is top, and you're here showing him, oh, okay, when you move the ball this way, watch the way you move that elbow. I thought that was
Yes.
absolutely fascinating.
Yes.
So, there's always something to learn. So in terms of that, in terms of an agent who's on the line, who's on the webinar saying, I don't know, what is a first session with a coach like?
Well, the first session with a coach, what we do as coaches is we just have a conversation, and we ask very specific questions because we want to know where the person we're coaching is in terms of their business. Are they a new agent? How long have they been doing real estate? We just want to have an understanding in that first coaching call where they are, what systems they have in place, what type of habits, who they are as people. That's very important for us to know as coaches. And then also ask the other very important questions like, well, how do you envision your business 2 years from now? Where how does that business look like? Are you just going to be doing real estate on your own? Do you want to create a team? Do you want to have an assistant? Do you want to focus on certain markets? All of these things. So it's really the first coaching call is we ask a lot of questions because we want to understand who you are, and where you want to go. Then we create a plan to help you get there.
Gotcha.
Can I just share this one thing? You talked about that basketball coach. So most people don't know this. So I'm going to let you in on something. That even us as business coaches here at Buffini Company, we have coaches. So we have internal coaches. Everyone needs a coach. And I'm going to share with you why. This is without a doubt very powerful. That when you're working every day, especially in real estate, you're in a reactive state, right? You get a phone call from the lender, you get a phone call from one of your buyers, wants to go look at property, you want to do this. You're constantly reacting to things that are coming at you throughout the day. And when you are in a reactive state, you can't see your blind spots. You can't really see what, hey, I should be doing this, or hey, I forgot to do that, or hey, I should be working on this. When you have a coach, it's kind of the same thing. As a coach, we're someone who's on your team looking from the outside, looking in, and saying to you, okay, when you take that 3-pointer, that shot in basketball, you drop your left elbow. Lift that elbow up, because when you lift that elbow up, you get greater results. You make the basket. It's the same thing. That's a coach's job, is to help you create a plan, help you achieve your goals, but always the accountability is we're constantly looking from the outside in to make sure that you are on the road to achieving your goals. I like to describe it like this to the people that I coach. This is your ship. You're the captain of the ship. You set the destination. I'm the navigator. I'll help you set the course. And when we hit waves, or when we hit, heavy winds or storms, we're going to be knocked off our plan. But I'm going to get us right back on our course towards your destination. And that's what a navigator does. And that's what a coach does. I hope that gives you a little more understanding about what we do here as coaches.
It does. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's interesting, and I think that's something that I think a lot of people are nervous about, and creating that relationship is so important. Like you said, you have people who you've been training for, from out in Guelph for 6 years, right?
Yes, sir.
That's a long time. So, just a quick quote somebody wrote in the chat, from Susanna Porter: "When you ripe, you're rotten. When you're green, you're growing." She said that's from the founder of McDonald's. I'm guessing that's Ray Kroc, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, wow. I love that. Thank you for that.
So I'll just wrap it up for everybody and remind everybody that we will be sending out a recording of the webinar. We do also have an indexed webinar library for you. You can find that in RLP Network under Training, Webinar Training, Sales Success. You can go here if you want to see other webinars that were done by Buffini Company. You can check those out. We've done a number of them, so you can check those out. At the same time, if you go to royallepage.ca/training, you'll see any upcoming webinars. You can register for those. Real quick and simple to get on there. And I just want to thank so much everybody for tuning in. Of course, we don't do webinars if there's no audience, so I want to thank you guys, the audience, first. I really, really appreciate it. Carlos, I want to thank you so much for your time, your patience, and your information. I really, really appreciate it.
It was my honor.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And, I always like kind of when the audience gets a little quiet, because I find it means that I have a page full of notes. And like I said, I started thinking, okay, I got my own personal goals I got to write down here. And like you said, I got to go back and talk with my wife about family goals. They're all Disney related, but
can I give you a goal, Mike?
Sure.
All right, here we go. I have a goal for you. I'd love for you to go visit New York and go to Yankee Stadium and see our fabulous Yankees play at some point in the future.
All right.
Hey, you got to have fun. If you can, if you can bring an element of fun to what you do, it just makes everything so much better. So it was wonderful speaking with you. It was Mike, and I just want everyone in Canada to know, all your wonderful agents with Royal LePage. From me as a coach, and I speak on behalf of Buffini Company Coaching, it is absolutely an honor and a pleasure to share some of our wisdom and some of our what we do here at Buffini Company. Okay.
Yeah, I thank you so much, Carlos. I'll have to take that goal. I got to go to a Yankees game now. All right, I gotta go back. Need a raise. Okay, 10 steps. I had 10 days. I got to figure out. Number one. Okay.
Happy holidays.
Wait till the new season. But thank you so much, Carlos, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
You too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys.
Well, not you too. You already did, right?
I can have another Thanksgiving. I'm okay. I'll eat more.
Why not? Be grateful every day. That's my motto.
Exactly. All right.